In this lesson, we have a few options for editing the perspective and angle of our photos, starting with rotate. So clicking the rotate button, it's going to try to straighten our image automatically. If you have a better horizon and better lines in your image, it might do it better. I'm going to undo this by double clicking straighten angle in the top left. So what you basically have is this flip button in the bottom. You can actually flip or mirror your image. And then you have rotate right, which will rotate your image 90 degrees. You can also just click and drag up or down to rotate your image slightly if you have a specific sort of fine tune adjustment. And this wasn't in the crop menu. So if you want to straighten out your horizons, you can do things like that. This image is pretty well straightened already. So I'm just going to click the check mark to be done with that edit. Next, you have perspective, which is a way to sort of warp your image. This looks good or works well with architecture photos when you're trying to straighten out angles. So basically, you can tilt, rotate, scale, or do a sort of freeform edit. So right now, I'm on the tilt. So if I drag to the right or to the left, you're actually tilting the image right or left. Dragging up or down, you can tilt up or down. This is also good if you are taking photos looking up at a building and you want the lines to be a little bit more straight. Usually tilting up will work a little bit well. While we do that, you'll notice that it sort of filled out the frame, and that's because we're on this smart fill mode. If I click the white or the black, you can see where the tilt actually is. And in that mode, you're actually just creating sort of this tilted, warped image with sort of that black or white background, rather than filling it out automatically, where Snapseed actually knows how to intelligently expand the edges to fill out the entire frame that you have. Rotate basically does the same as what we did before with rotating, but what the cool thing is about it is if we rotate it, say we want to rotate like this, see how it automatically fills in those edges? It's basically just sort of painting over and creating a unique photo. Now with scale, this is cool because you can kind of stretch and distort your image. So dragging up or down will make everything squished. And it's amazing. Look at this. If I leave it like that, it's going to sort of paint in the rest. Even down here with the trees, it looks pretty good. Or squeeze it if we want to really squeeze it or stretch it out. Pretty crazy, right? Or there's a completely sort of freeform way. And this allows you to kind of bring in the corners, stretch them around, kind of funky stuff. But this is typically what you would use if you're trying to straighten out lines, horizons, things like that in your image. So I'm going to actually go ahead and exit out of this, not save any of those adjustments. Next, we have expand, which is somewhat similar to perspective, but it's basically just zooming in or out. So we have the same modes, white, black, or smart. And if you click and drag one of these edges, you can sort of expand the sky. So say we want more negative space, we can make the sky way bigger, dragging to the right. What it does though is it sort of uses some sort of like cloning tool, and you can see in the bottom right of this image now that it has replicated a building that was in the skyline, which doesn't look too good. If we drag this to the left, you're expanding to the left a little bit. It's duplicating the edges using like a clone tool, like I said, to paint over, which for this image, it's automatically, you know it's fake, but if it's more of a texture or a pattern that you've shot, something without as much sort of specific detail, it could look pretty good. So this is just a way to make your image actually bigger and wider without taking a wider photo. I'm going to exit out of that. So those are just some fun effects and tools for your sort of perspective of your image.